Meetings have been taking place at Tuinhuis, the official residence of President Jacob Zuma. ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa issued a statement yesterday that he is aware that the uncertainty surrounding President Zuma is a cause for concern for many South Africans. He said he is certain that the process they have embarked on will achieve an outcome that not only addresses these concerns, but also unites the people in building the country. Joining us from our parliamentary studios in Cape Town, we have ANC Spokesperson Pule Mabe. Pule, good to have you. Thanks very much. And firstly, congratulations on your new appointment.
No, thanks, Leanne, and much appreciated.
All right, let's get straight into the issues at the moment, because there's a lot to talk about. By now, it really is public knowledge that there are discussions around the exit of President Jacob Zuma, but the ANC's communication around this issue hasn't been forthcoming. Why can't you bring South Africans into confidence once and for all as to what is happening around Zuma's fate?
Well, Leanne, thanks once more for inviting us this morning so that we can place our position on record. You will know that ever since there have been developments and quite a lot of anxiety, as the president of the ANC has stated yesterday, the ANC communications machinery has been hard at work to make sure that each and every development that happens around these issues pertaining to the engagements that were fruitful and constructive between the president of the ANC and the president of the country, we are the first to make sure that we keep the media and the general public informed. So to be fair to us, we've actually been doing our best. I mean, 2 days ago, it would have been the Deputy Secretary General taking the media on a roundtable engagement. Afterwards, when the NEC was postponed, it would have been the Secretary General of the ANC who was really explaining reasons for the postponement. Yesterday, there was a statement authorized by the President of the ANC effectively detailing part of those engagements and saying that while there's recognition of this anxiety, everything else is being done to make sure that issues are resolved with speed. All of this is being done because the ANC can never let loose of the strategic initiative, which is to lead society. The ANC has always understood that the strategic initiative is in its hands and it must do all of its best to make sure that people are briefed, are kept informed. The ANC has got the capacity to even rise much more stronger out of this situation.
Pule, I'm going to grab onto one word that you said, handling the situation with speed. And I have to disagree with you on this one, because we have had an unprecedented event postponed. This has never happened in the history of South Africa, that the State of the Nation address is not going ahead. This evening, everybody was expected to gather to hear about plans for government and the way forward. It is a major event that is timed to perfection, and it's been cancelled. Millions has been wasted on this. Surely a better job could have been done, because this is not only an ANC issue. This is a South African issue. He is the president of our country.
Yes, Leanne, I think you will also, like me, you two will agree that the postponement of SONA, as advanced by the Speaker of Parliament and through a statement issued by the presidency, would have been something that came out of a proper engagement. You know, so I am sure that when this postponement happened, there was a recognition of certain factors that might have allowed for such a postponement to be considered. I mean, the ANC, represented by our own Chief Whip, who's the head of our caucus in Parliament, spoke on behalf of the ruling party on this matter and had accepted what was raised and considered when SONA was to be postponed through the programming committee. And the presidency itself has also issued a statement that showed that it also shared a similar view. So, Leanne, we should all accept that we are dealing with a delicate situation. And of course, that the delicate situations themselves would cause some disruptions of sort. But all of these things are happening because we are all working towards finding a solution and one that moves South Africa forward.
We talk about a delicate situation, and it certainly is a delicate situation. No transition is a situation that is straightforward. It is always very, very complex. But if we go back to when President Thabo Mbeki was in office, an NEC meeting was held that evening. He addressed the nation, he stepped down, and we moved on. However, many people are speculating and still saying that President Jacob Zuma is holding the ANC hostage, is holding South Africa hostage, and this is dampening once again the reputation of the ruling party. Are you not worried that this, again, is something that the party cannot have? And more importantly, the country. We were having invited guests coming. The world is watching. Surely it should have been a much swifter, easier process. The NEC meets and he resigns.
Look, Leanne, I would want us to rather use the words that the ANC has used. We have referred to this as transition. When we met in our first National Executive Committee meeting, we had agreed that officials must continue engaging with the President of the country to discuss matters of transition. We also agreed, because we even elected a National Working Committee whose job would be to process day-to-day activities of the organization. If there are matters that come before the National Working Committee which would require the foresight of the NEC, such matters would have to be placed before us so that finality is made on those matters and the ANC is seen to be communicating in one voice on those issues. So process-wise, we were still on track because we were to receive a report about these different engagements, including a report of the National Working Committee, and ultimately pronounce ourselves. So I don't think that we have ever at any given time seen to be reneging from our own obligation and responsibility of leading the people of this country.
Can you take us into your conference? Perhaps you know more information. When it was mentioned that there are pertinent issues being discussed, what are those issues? Are they the terms of exit?
Look, I wouldn't want us to even get into those issues. What I can assure you is that by the time the National Executive Committee meets to resolve on this and many other issues, the decision that it will place before the public will be a final one and will be one that brings the people of South Africa together. What I can also assure you is that the ANC is not letting loose the strategic initiative of leading the people of South Africa.
You talk about the NEC meeting. The next meeting, I think, is the 17th or 18th of February.
Yes, it's the next weekend.
That'll be the next one. Surely by that time, there'll be a conclusion. Will the president have stepped down by then, or be recalled, or whatever it may be? We need to move on with business.
Yes, Leanne, I wouldn't want us to go to words like stepping down, not stepping down. I think it's safer for us in the ANC to limit it to the narrative that we've already been carrying on with, which is the engagement on transition. Appreciate that those engagements are fruitful and constructive. I mean, the fact that the president of the ANC has also come and taken the nation into his confidence on those engagements, this should begin to throw in a sign of our own willingness to make sure that we ultimately find a resolve that moves South Africa forward.
You know, a lot of people, obviously, during December, and everything that's been echoed by the ANC is the word unity. Unity in the ranks, unity within the party. We see a very mixed NEC. We see that it's trying to bring together. But what it appears like to South Africans is in all honesty, the ANC to have peace at the expense of the party. Of the country, I beg your pardon. And this is what it feels like. It feels like the ANC is too worried about what's happening within its ranks to worry about governing a country. And this is where the problem comes in, Pule.
Well, I'm going to say this light point that ANC decisions are not made on WhatsApp groups or on Facebook and all of that, you know. ANC decisions ought to be processed by formal structures. Because if the ANC, as a big organization discharged with the responsibility of leading society through its role in government, does not process matters properly, then the ANC will have lost what I call a strategic initiative to lead the people of this country. Now, the ANC ought to be given that space. I mean, of course, Leanne, you'll also appreciate that even ourselves, brand new from the box, we are trying our best to make sure that when there are developments, we file them accordingly with the media. So there's never been a void. We also do not want fake news flying in the face of all of these developments.
Certainly.
It must be the ANC that takes charge and communicates one common message to the people of this country.
Yeah.
What I can assure you is if there are any developments, we will be the first ones to lead the charge.
Yeah. And that is a worry because we saw so much fake news coming out, and unfortunately this is the reality, is that when there is silence, fake news comes, and we cannot afford that. The budget is set for the 21st of February. That's the national budget, very important. However, it takes its cue from the State of the Nation address, and a lot needs to happen before that. Do you believe that the 21st of February will be the date for the budget and that won't be moved?
Well, from the pronouncements that have been made, it's quite clear that the programming committee and the national and the necessary structures are patient with making such decisions. They have applied their mind. They have already communicated that is it the 21st is the date for the national budget, and I'm sure that and even Parliament itself has said that as soon as possible a new date of SONA will be pronounced upon. So we are hoping that, I mean, they are doing everything else. What I can tell you is that the ANC cadreship, both within and outside Parliament and structures of government, always act with great responsibility. Everything else that we are doing is to ensure that we hold the fort, maintain the national mood, and keep the country moving.
Yeah, the national mood is not good at the moment. And Pule, I am a South African citizen, and I can tell you that. We are not happy with what's happening. When is President Jacob Zuma going? Why is it taking so long? What is the problem? Surely this is the moment to show leadership to move this country forward.
Leanne, you see, I have earlier suggested that in the ANC we have located this understanding of the engagements to be about transition. And that as soon, and the president of the ANC has said that, appreciating the anxiety amongst South Africans, and that we are moving with speed to make sure that there is a resolution to some of these issues of public interest, and that as soon as they are resolved, we will be able to communicate one unequivocal message to the people of this country. So the fact that we are here in your studio and the fact that we have made our voices heard throughout the many media outlets in the Republic, that alone shows and demonstrates our ability to make sure that our people are kept informed.
Pule, we'll leave it there for this morning. Thank you for talking to us. Thanks very, very much for your time. And we eagerly await news from the ANC and to find out what our way forward is. Thanks for joining us.
No, thanks.
That's Pule Mabe. He is the new spokesperson of the ANC. He, of course, was appointed this week and somebody that we are all going to be very, very familiar with over these years. The time now is 7 o'clock.